welcome back to Geek Clear Podcasts. I'm Donnie, and today we're talking the good, the bad, and the spoilers for Alien Romulus, the latest Alien movie directed by Fede Alvarez, and the first Alien movie under the Disney Corporation, which is kind of hilarious. It stars Kaylee Spaney as Rain, the new final girl, the new Ripley, if you will, although thankfully she was not just a carbon copy of Ripley, so that made me happy. I liked her brother, Andy the android, and the other side characters were also there. I'm not going to trash them too hard, it's not their fault, but yeah, they felt like they were just kind of there because the xenomorph needed to unalive some people. Your mileage may vary though, and that's okay. Alright, let's get into the first major positive of this movie for me. We got an answer to the timeline. I saw so many Alien geeks debating exactly how many years ahead of Alien this movie was. We knew it was set in between Alien and Aliens, but I saw so many people throwing around different numbers about when exactly this movie takes place, and we got an answer. 20 years. It's been 20 years since the events of the original Alien movie, and now we're here, and Ripley is still out there in cryostasis. So she's not in this movie, but that's okay. I was just happy we got an answer about that canonically. We can all sleep a little easier at night now. Second biggest positive for this movie, they brought back the black liquid goo from Prometheus and Alien Covenant. There were so many Alien fans who were disappointed that this movie was not the continuation of those movies. They were disappointed that that trilogy will probably always be incomplete. So tying them into this movie and kind of sort of unofficially making this the third movie in that trilogy, if you want to look at it that way, that was brilliant. Whoever came up with that idea, Disney, give them a raise. Because that was a great way to appease that section of Alien fans. But first biggest negative for the movie, and it's most people's biggest negative, again, click out now, but just hit the like button on your way out, that'd help us out a lot. They bring back Ian Holmes' character Ash, and more specifically, they bring back Ian Holmes from the effing dead, using a combination of CGI and a voice actor, and they tried to spin it as a good thing. Well, we didn't use AI. That was a big thing with the actor strike. Don't replace us with AI. We didn't do it with AI. Yeah, but that doesn't make it better, bringing back a real-life dead guy for this. And I know his family signed off on it and everything. They thought he'd be cool with it and stuff. And maybe he would be, but honestly, it didn't add that much to the movie. It felt just unnecessary to me, especially in a movie that already had a bunch of callbacks to what most considered to be the best Alien movies anyway. You didn't really need it when you had other references to Alien and Aliens all throughout this thing. Honestly, it reminded me a lot of the Terminator franchise. Almost every Terminator sequel references 1 and 2 because most fans agree those are the best ones. Well, now the Alien franchise is doing that, referencing Alien and Aliens because most fans agree those are the best ones. This movie did a lot of that, which is, I guess, my first biggest negative for the film, but they did do it better than the newest The Strangers movie. So it's somewhere in between Terminator and The Strangers for calling back to the best ones. So they did an okay job with it overall. I guess I would have liked to have seen more references to other things, not just other Alien movies either. For instance, the plot of this movie, it's pretty basic. Rain and those people trying to get off, they work on this mining planet. There's no access to sunlight, they have unrealistic quotas, they work like dogs essentially. It's like working for Amazon, allegedly. And they want to get off that mining planet and go to this better planet that is essentially 9 years away. But gosh darn it, wouldn't you know it, there's a xenomorph on board the spaceship. So something like that would have been a great opportunity to call back to other Alien things, for example. Hey, we're on this ship for the equivalent of 9 years. I brought some, reading material to keep us sane, and then you see somebody in the background reading like Alien graphic novelizations or Alien comic books, or maybe in the background you see two characters playing Alien vs. Predator Clue, or Alien vs. Predator Guess Who, something like that. Both real games, by the way. Something like that would have been really funny and a great way to call back to other things besides just the best movies. But there were references to the Alien Isolation video game. They actually utilized the checkpoints from the video game. In the movie, they're not video game checkpoints, obviously, but that's what they were, and it was brilliant to work that in. Fede Alvarez was a big fan of Alien Isolation, and he put that in on purpose, so that was great. But speaking of all the callbacks, let's talk about the return of the Ripley line, "Get away from her, you bitch!" Well, now it's no longer a Ripley line. Now Andy the android says it. So they took a famous, badass line from this woman and gave it to a man, because now, since this movie takes place before Aliens, now he said it first and she ripped him off unknowingly years later. So that might annoy a few people out in the world. And it just felt like yet another unnecessary callback. You know what I would have done that would have been a little more original, perhaps? Remember in Scream 2, when Randy infamously gets the quote wrong, he says the line is, "Stay away from her, you bitch"? Well, they should have had Andy the android say that. Since this movie is now kind of the new Alien 2, you could have referenced Scream 2, and then the internet would have lost its mind, talking about, "Oh my god, Randy was right all these years later, Scream 2 predicted the future, blah blah blah." The internet would have blown up with that. Would have been slightly more original than yet another callback, just saying. But the next positive of the movie, when we do get to the xenomorphs, and they need to stay away from her, you bitch, we get practical effects. It's a lot of animatronic puppets. It's a lot of guys in suits. I love guys in suits. Wait, that came out wrong. Or did it? No, I love guys in suits in movies, I'm saying. No, that doesn't sound much better, does it? What I'm saying is, I love that I can go to a Comic-Con or a sci-fi con and meet the actor in the suit who actually played a xenomorph. And I love that because they use practical effects, more human beings got jobs because of that. That's always a good thing, right? So kudos to them for using mostly practical effects in here. But despite all the callbacks, we do get some Fede Alvarez originality in here. We get an amazing zero-gravity sequence where they realize that the acidic alien blood is just going to eat through the ship if they waste a bunch of the facehuggers. So what does the Rain character do? She turns off the gravity, wastes a bunch of them in midair, and the blood is just floating there. That was a cool take on the old alien trope and the old issue of the acidic blood. That was a cool twist on it. Another cool twist: to avoid the facehuggers, they turn up the heat and move slowly since they know they track you with body heat. The problem solving in this movie was great, and it was great new twists on old stuff that we had seen before. And we get, spoiler for the ending, get out of here now, I'm warning. This is the third time I had to warn you. I'm telling you, I apologize for nothing at this point. We get an alien-human hybrid at the end, which I thought was great body horror. I know a lot of Alien fans don't necessarily like the hybrids. I like it. I think it's cool. I like the Pred Alien. I like this one. More versions of aliens, more variants that we can cosplay as or buy Funko Pops of or whatnot. The more the merrier, you know what I mean? It's a good thing. Variety is the spice of life, right? So I thought that was really cool, even though it was kind of yet another callback to Alien Resurrection. I thought they handled it well. But that's kind of the problem with the movie. Does 2 or 3 cool, original-ish moments, does that make up for the marvelization of the Alien franchise, essentially? I don't know. The majority opinion will have to rule on that, I guess. Time will tell. But all in all, I thought it was pretty well done. And my last negative for the film, the pacing. This movie does take a little bit to get going. That was by design, though. They were trying to mimic the tone of the original Alien before they ramped things up. That type of pacing worked back then, but in 2024, I feel like they could have tightened it up just a little bit. All in all, I was pretty happy with this movie. I hope most of you guys were too. I would say 6 out of 10 for this thing. I will always be curious to know if there's an extended cut. Most of the Alien movies, the extended, unrated, whatever cuts, enhance a lot of them, even Alien 3. So, be curious to see if that makes any kind of a difference when this thing eventually comes to physical media and or Hulu. But it's not just about what I think. What did you think of Alien Romulus? Comment down below. And maybe I'll see you guys when the sequel comes out. And be sure to like and subscribe and all those things. And tune in again soon and take another bite of the Geek Lair.